Prince, when's the last time any of you personally presented an offer? And I'd say 95% never had presented an offer to a seller. And I explained to him, I said, you know, everybody talks about, right, we also were talking about love letters, people write, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the clients are this and that. And in real estate, you got to be careful because now you're worried you're going to, I hate to say it like this, hurt somebody's feelings or write something discriminatory or this or that. So the caution today is if someone writes a love letter for you to give somebody, please read it first so you don't wind up finding that they did something wrong or put something wrong in there. And I was laughing like Stacy, how she did the thing the other week where she presented her offer to the guy and sent a video. I said, you know, there's times where if you're not sure that the guy can turn around and really present the offer the way it was written or what you mean to get the meaning across, nowadays, because they're so connected, make the request to the other agent to be able to present your offer to the sellers. And whether you do it with FaceTime or instant, the Facebook Messenger or whatever they got, short of being there in person, don't be afraid to reach across. And the thing about that, it makes you stand out above others or in front of others. And that's who they'll remember.
What can I get for you?
That's smart. We're gonna give about 1 more minute.
Always going through the drive-through, aren't you?
Is that Leon going through the drive-through?
Yep.
Getting his coffee?
Money never sleeps, right, Leon? There you go, buddy.
All right.
Doing my part to keep the local economy employed. I do the small business people because I am one.
Oh, my camera went, and if you go in the virtual background, it disappears. See my copy? All right.
And now a magic show by Marcus, more than you paid for.
Oh, Steve, you got a new background.
Yeah,
Okay, guys.
I moved over in front of the windows.
Yeah. You must be doing really well out there.
Great.
All right, guys. So welcome to the Mastermind. And I think what we want to do today, hey, Nick, good to see your face, buddy. Nicholas Guzman coming from, this guy has been with us for a while. It's been like months before I saw him. So let's talk about wins, guys. If anybody has something to share, and even if you're in trial today and you have a win that you want to share, like share it, because I think it's so important that we celebrate each other's wins. So I don't care if it's, having a great conversation with somebody or just literally getting a reply on an email. That's a win to me. I want to hear how your experience has been so far. And I want you guys just to use this time to ask each other, because we have a couple people on here who are kind of a little skeptical about the whole top of funnel and the Facebook side, especially coming from Google, or Zillow or that type of lead where like people are actively searching. What's the difference? Help set up some mindset today for some of our newbies that are kind of just trying to figure out how to put this all together. That's where I'd want some of you guys that have been with us for a while. I'm going to be calling on you guys. I can start talking. Don't make me start calling out Jessica, Jennifer, Leon. These are perfect opportunities. Nicholas, too. Remember when you got your first deal? Walk us through that experience and what you found was the best way to connect with the lead who, quote unquote, was just curious and looking to see, either whether it was a list of properties or just to see what their home could, is worth in this market. All right, opening up the floor. Who's going to talk first? Don't be shy, just unmute yourself.
I'll be the shy one. No, so some of the stuff people coming over from like Zillow and Google, the pay-per-clicks, the thing behind the Google pay-per-click, you never know where it's going to put you because you're bidding for a word that 10 billion other realtors are bidding for. So at the end of the day, when you say, I always joke about balling on a budget. So you're not looking to have your budget on a roller coaster, and the AdWords can add up pretty quick in very competitive areas. And then the other one was those coming off Zillow. I posted something in the group. I answered somebody last night about Rex Real Estate or whatever. So if y'all get a chance, look inside the Insider today for that, because it's very interesting where AI is starting to take an impact, but the people that are going after like Zillow and stuff like that as well. And one of the biggest things I always say is get your people away from Zillow. I mean, that is the default. They're going to do it. You probably get a lead or two. I still get organic stuff from Zillow that comes in. But the problem is, the minute they call Zillow and they get the 50 brokers and lenders calling them, trying to give them a better deal than you, you're going to lose clients. So if you've got like, you know, HomeSnap, HomeSpotter, apps that are with your MLS already, if you don't have your own, get them on that. Don't send it to them and tell them sign up, sign them up. Get them away from that platform, get them on your stuff, and keep them active. And then that way, you know, one of the things, I don't do this, and I'll admit it because I've got something else I run, but StreetText does have texting in it. So sit down, and if it's only once a week or whatever, or based on their activity, go ahead and send stuff out to people, texting them out of the system so that Julie's working for you. It's not automated as, you know, once somebody replies, it stops, but you can go in there and be a copy and paste king or queen. Go ahead and just a quick follow-up thing. You can copy and paste it and send it. And you know, like they say, it's in the follow-up, it's in the follow-up, it's in the follow-up. I love what Stacy said when she first came in. That guy listed with her in Hawaii simply because she's the only person that kept talking to him. I went out and walked a $500,000 house yesterday, and I looked her up in the system. I've been with StreetText since it started in 2015, went away for a minute. She came into my system the end of 2018, and I'd just been working her through the system again with the follow-up. And now I'm going to sit down with her this weekend and talk about listing the house. But it all came to the follow-up and the texting or whatever. So one of the nice things with the StreetText system is keeping the engagement going, because that's how you get the reward. It ain't adding new leads all the time. It's still actively working the ones you have.
Yeah, what's the industry average on how many touches it takes with the top of funnel lead before I usually get a conversation? Is it something like 10 to 12?
7 to 12.
7 to 12. Yeah, and so a lot of people give up after the first one, right? Or like, they didn't contact me, or, you know, I always say, until they tell you to actually go to hell, you better keep on going, right? And until you get a reply even, like, you have to keep on going, because if you're leading with value and you're being authentic in that approach to getting and serving them that information, then you're doing your job.
It's try till they buy or die. And so at the end of the day, the average realtors will call three, and I'd say average, I don't consider myself average about nothing. They'll try 3 times and quit. Or the problem is not that you didn't call, you spaced it and made it so sporadic. So you have to make a system. And I've been teaching my guys, there's something called a perfect daily system. It took me forever to get it down because I couldn't figure it out looking at what others did, because I couldn't do it that way. I don't go to the gym at 5 in the morning. I don't do all the stuff they do. But what I finally came to realize, like when the light bulb came on, is the perfect daily system is what works for you. And if you're calling people the same time every week, it doesn't work. Switch your times. But if you're going to block out 2 hours to work StreetText systems, an hour for follow-up, it doesn't have to be the same times. It's just a matter of getting it done and putting in the time, because it's all in the follow-up. So if you're doing it and you're getting it done, it doesn't matter what times you did it. It comes down to the fact that you actually did it. And that's where you get the results.
Yeah. I find we focus too much on the details, like my emails aren't getting opened, or, you know, HomeBot or BombBomb, or you name it. I mean, there's so many ways to do the follow-up, but the thing is, you got to be consistent and you got to measure it. And so if you're not, it's not about your automations, right? Everybody wants the perfect automation. It's simply being genuine, authentic, and continuing to reaching out to people and doing it sometimes with unconventional means. Like, you can still door knock homes. You can still introduce yourself. You can still send mail, you know, postcards and note cards and handwritten letters, right? As long as you're being genuine. And I have a lot of people that'll take these address onlys and they'll use another system, they'll find them, and they'll just have a conversation with somebody. Because you're just being genuine. Even if you say something along the lines of, hey, you know, I have your address. It could have been a buyer, it could have been a potential renter, maybe just someone playing with my Facebook ad, but I just want to get back to you and make sure this, you know, wasn't you just, you know, even if you were curious, it's the service I offer, it's complimentary, right? That's great, Leon. Who else wants to share some stuff? I mean, Jen, what's kind of, if you want to unmute yourself, I know it's, you know, I pick on you a lot, but tell me, what have you learned in your time of StreetText that has been really important for your success so far?
Well, I think I learned number one about Facebook, making that a CRM. So, you know, people are always asking on StreetText. I see it's like, what other CRM are you guys using to funnel your leads? And it's like, for me, StreetText is my CRM. And so every day I wake up, I go through my contacts. I'll start at the very bottom and I'll make new touches. But what I find most helpful is that I plug them all into Facebook. So I find them, I friend them, I put them as prospect and StreetText leads. And I've had a few that, like, over time, they'll say, you know, we were just curious, we're not selling for a few years. And I'll say, okay, so what I'll do is on Facebook, I'll change them from a StreetText prospect and I'll change them to local. So that way, when I'm posting things about Raleigh or Wake Forest, they're still seeing it. And I've converted a few that way, because then they're not feeling like I'm selling them, but they're still seeing me. And it's more of just events going on, and they'll reach out and say, you know, actually we've changed our mind. And then I'll feed right back into it. But that whole understanding that this is my CRM, this is what I do. When I wake up and I have my schedule and it's reaching out to leads, it's StreetText. So I'll go back out, and people, they say, no one's opening my emails. So for me, I wait a day, because if someone hasn't opened your email in a day, guess what? They're not opening it. So I look for unopened emails, and I copy and paste in BombBomb. I resend it, and I just change the subject a little bit. And guess what? Most of them will open that second one, and I'm like, yes, I got them in my funnel. They're opening. Now I can continue with my touches for them. But I don't stop. If someone hasn't seen my email, they're going to continue to get emails from me every day with a different subject, because they don't know. They don't know who I am. So
I love it. I love it. So that's a conversation we get a lot about. They're not getting my opens, or they're not getting my email. So is that the email provider? And with that, you take that same email and then resend it from within BombBomb. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay.
Same thing. I just changed the subject. I'll change, sometimes I'll take off that emoji, the video emoji, and I'll just say something like your requested valuation. Or if I'm not getting them, then I'll reach out to them on Facebook and I'll send the link to the video. Either way, they're going to open something from me. So,
awesome. And then you're also going to try to find them using the advanced search of Facebook, right? You're going to go search people, find it by area. A lot of people don't know that part of Facebook. And then you're going to friend request them, drop them into a list. Most people don't know that. And then send them a Facebook message as well.
I'll even become more stalkerific, and I'll take their email and I'll post it in Google. And sometimes I'll find a business and I'm like, and then I'll look for their business on Facebook. I mean, I'm total CIA. StreetText has made me CIA. So
I love it. That's how I approached all you guys, to be honest. Like, if you remember, we were friends. I sent you friend requests. I sent you messages. I made sure that you were going to meet me in that trial before, right?
Your kids and your wife won me over. I mean, it wasn't even about you. It was the cute pictures of the kids and the wife. And I was like, okay.
It was all a plan from the beginning.
He called me fat and gave me workout advice.
Oh, man.
I was like, who is this?
I'm still telling you, you got to go keto, bro. All right.
That sounds like the way he speaks to me too. Yeah.
Tough love. So that's awesome. That's great stuff. So, and not everybody's going to do that. Okay. Not everybody's going to use Facebook as a CRM. It's got to be natural for you. Like, this is not something we're saying you got to you have to do. Okay. Some people are like, they hold on to their Facebook very personally, and they don't like to they go that direction. Jed and I use Facebook as just CRM. Logan doesn't. Okay. And that's just why, Logan's Logan, right? So it's got to be, you got to figure out what you're going to do, but whatever you do, you got to do it consistently, and then you got to measure it. And if you're not getting dialogue started, then there's something wrong in that process, and you have to be open to doing something different.
Well, and I think that, to that end, I mean, while we're all piling up on Logan here, I think it's important to understand is know what you do, and exactly like Marcus is saying though, is if we're recommending you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this, you have to do that. If you're not going to do one of those things, you better supplement it with something else. So for me, I'm very active on text and email. I don't like email as much, but I text. And for me, I've disconnected social media from my phone so that when I'm not in the office, I'm not working anymore, so I have my family time. Otherwise, my phone's dinging and I'm always checking it and doing something. So that was my own personal decision to remove Facebook from my mobile devices. But I still, if I have an emergency, I need something, my clients know, everybody knows that they can text me, and I still get those over weekends and everything like that. So it doesn't matter really what you're doing, but just understand that if you're missing one of these big components, you better be supplementing with something else, and do what you do it well, and be consistent. That's incredibly important.
That's awesome. Okay, well, let's take a different approach. Who's got a different approach that's worked for them that they want to share? Because it's not going to be about Facebook. Sometimes it's about, I've actually had people who've left their regular old boring generic drip email campaigns that they left on with StreetText, and like day 40 something, whatever, someone replies to that email and says, come list my home, right? So sometimes it is just touches. And you got to understand, top of funnel leads are ready when they're ready. They're not ready, you know, their timeline is their timeline. And sometimes they just don't want to tell you until they're ready, even if you are doing everything to connect with them.
So Marcus, I do have a question for Jennifer. Have you ever gone into Facebook and just hit the phone icon and tried to call somebody through Facebook?
No, I kind of feel funny about that because I've had that happen to me, and to me it feels kind of odd. Like, I don't know this person, and what I'm afraid of actually with that is that somebody will click like a report me, and then my whole, like, I'm very nervous about that because I have my business page, so it just makes me a little nervous that they will feel that that's totally invasive.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've heard some teaching on that, and I've heard both thoughts on it. So I was just curious.
Tim, I would suggest a little bit rapport is built first. Less is more in the beginning, especially top of funnel. So the best thing you could do, I think, would be leveraging Messenger. If anything, if you can get that Messenger opened, then you can leverage voicemail, right? You can do a video so you can get face-to-face. You can drop PDFs and content. Like everything, the reason why I love Facebook Messenger so much is because once you get that communication established, everything stays in there, and you get to track when they've opened it and seen it. It's, you know, it's again that free 99 tool that Leon, we always talk about. Remember, everything got initiated and started on Facebook. These people were you know, on their phones, scrolling down their newsfeed on their personal Facebooks, and they got an ad in front of them from your business page, which is the sponsored element. And they clicked through and they got their information submitted. Why not bring it full circle and connect with them? Because Facebook is a connection, right? It's a place where you create relationship. So we always think, oh, it's invasive, but it's not. It's not invasive unless you believe it's invasive. If you're being genuine in your approach and you're literally trying to serve them with the best value information possible, that's the win. And, you know, I just talked to a gentleman in San Francisco the other day that he said, you know what, this is why I need to talk to him, because in the market right now, if you get an offer, it can go to counter offer. And he said there was like 50 offers in this home, and it jumped up a couple $100,000 from the estimated home value just by what it sold for. So why you would have to tell them what's happening in the market. There's no way you just want to say that in a generic CMA. That's why you need to connect with these people, because you're the experts there. You need to help them understand what's happening out there in the market and why it would potentially be the perfect time to sell today. The interest rates being as low as they are, et cetera, right? You're helping them expand into the understanding of what's going on in the industry.
I have a couple things that we do that works. We definitely use your funnel because I love that, but we have a gap between the first video that goes out and text to the second one, so that I have time to do the video CMA. And so we have that starting on the 4th day. That way I have a couple days to get that done because there's so many that come through. But anyway, so we do the video CMA, but we have everything filtered into Follow Up Boss because that is our CRM. And we use that CRM because we also have our website through Ylopo, and Ylopo's leads filter into there. So the cool thing with kind of utilizing all of it, I love Facebook. So when the StreetText leads go in there, we automatically tag the Ylopo seller. That way Ylopo grabs that info and starts target marketing them on Facebook as well with their seller lead ads. So they're kind of seeing me everywhere and grabbing that information from there. So it works pretty good.
What type of reactions and comments are you getting regarding the video CMAs and stuff that you're doing? Have you heard anything specific on that? As you know, obviously I don't want to lead the witness here, but you know, something kind of along the lines of, I've never seen that before, it was good information. What kind of stuff are you hearing back on that?
Right. So the people that I've actually met with and talked to, which have been a lot, because they just love it. And thank you, Logan. He taught me how to do, I do the Zillow, Realtor.com and Redfin. And I do it because they are so all over the place. And I basically teach people, you know, that they're out here looking at these stupid websites that are $50,000 a piece from each other. So they have no clue what their real value is. And then I go to, you know, the MLS search that we did and show them exactly, you know, what the numbers are coming in the area, blah, blah, blah. And then I also say, to get a true value of your home, I would need to see your home, blah, 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 blah. So when I talk to them after that, they're like, oh my gosh, totally. Every website we go on, it's different. So it's like, oh, it went up 50,000. Oh, it went down 20,000. And they're so confused. So basically we're reaching out to them and telling them, this is why you need a realtor, because we know what we're talking about. And this is, you know, what we do. And we're not a machine. So anyway, so it's been going really good. I have one in escrow, just listed another one, and we have 2 more that we're listing.
Okay, so Wendy, how long have you been with StreetText? How many appointments have you been on? How many transactions so far?
Since November. And as far as appointments goes, we've been on 4, but as conversations and coming soon, we have a lot going on, about 6 or 7 of those, and a lot of people not wanting to sell for 6 months, but hopefully we could get them in to sell earlier, because earlier is better than later here in Las Vegas. So,
Las Vegas. Okay, so Las Vegas, where the average, let's just give the average home sale for you.
Usually about 300 is our average. But I mean, I have some at $199.9. I have some at $500. So, you know, they're all over the place, but.
And ad spend, what are you spending on Facebook? Just kind of a generic number for.
So I have the 2 ads running through you guys that were in the trial, because they just do the best, and they're $9 a day. So I just kept using those because I try new things and they just don't work as good as those ones do, even though they're the ugly maps that I hate, but apparently people like maps. So anyway, so that's about how much we're spending on there. Obviously, Loco is a whole nother story. And so we spend some money through there for their Facebook marketing. Yeah, anyway, but it's, I mean, hey, we're closing on one and it's, you know, $9,000, and I paid $2,000 for StreetText. So I'm pretty sure it was a good deal.
I think so.
I love the comment of the ugly map, because we get that all the time, and I really hope that realtors keep that feeling towards that image, and they only use it when they come to us, because you know, when people like yourself first come here, it's always that explanation of, trust me, you got to use this map image, and me as you know, not looking at this as a marketing angle, me as an ex-realtor, I look at that and go, oh, it's so boring, that'll never work here, right? And then obviously you run it and you're like, wow, like, why are people clicking on this? And then you realize the reason for it, and we always mention it, it's the psychological way essentially, where people are scrolling through Facebook really quick, and given the fact that they get a lot of their news from Facebook, which is terrifying, but it's very true. People get so much of their current news content from Facebook. You need to stop that scroll. And as they're whipping through, if they see an image of a blue home, if I don't own a blue home, I don't care about your ad anymore. It looks like an ad and I'm not even stopping to investigate. But if it's somewhere where I am, all of a sudden there's a reason for me to stop and investigate. And if I don't like the ad copy, I don't want to sell my home, I don't care what it's worth, or I'm not a homeowner, great, I'm going to keep scrolling. I'm not going to click, most likely. You don't pay for the click, right? Because I didn't click. I keep going, and no harm, no foul. But hopefully it stops your scroll. It stops most people, because what's happening around me right? They read the ad copy, they click, and obviously, I mean, it works. So while you're with StreetText, and hopefully it's forever, Wendy, please keep using it. Afterwards, you can go back to not using it, of course, right? But no, that's the idea, is make sure that you're always, following up with what's working. And as you're seeing, we have all those templates for you to test and try, and we always recommend test and try everything. But it's also recommended to always keep one of those, the boring map image, because they work.
Well, one of those things too on that is just below that map image is another funnel that is the same exact thing, just a slight play on the words, and it's an equity form of it. So for anyone that's in a market with low inventory, perfect solution to try that one. Okay. And another thing on that too is split testing is how you get the ad to perform. So if you're not getting a good ad performance, then you're not split testing enough. And that idea of 3 ads for 24 hours at $9 a day until you find that perfect ad performance is what you need to do. And you need to recognize that it's not always the actual, the map. It could be the satellite image of the map. It could be the terrain. It could be like a slight little emoji on one of them, right? You're kind of basing it off of the first 500 people reached. And so you have to be a wise steward of managing those ads and turning them off when they're underperforming, or Facebook is just going to continue to spend your money. And that's why the split test concept runs for all the funnels, buyers included. Whether you're running, there's a really good seller one right now too, where you can put in your own picture on the bottom for the live accounts, where it's enter your address, receive your home value. And we're seeing some really good results with that when you leverage like a local landmark picture or an aerial view. It doesn't have to be quote unquote, a home. So that's the key. You can even take a map and put that in there. So it's all about kind of thinking outside the box. These are just, they're just envelopes ready for you to put your content on it, and you got to test them. Similarly, the automations as well. So don't spend more than $10 on an ad if it's underperforming. Turn it off. I know Steve. Hey, we had a good talk about that. He let it run for about 3 months over the winter, or however long it was, and he gets billed by Facebook for a couple grand, and you're like, well, kind of your fault there, buddy. Hey.
Yeah, you were like, how's that ad seems expensive. I was like, yeah, it does look like I said, let me log in and look at it. I'm like, well, I've spent $2,000 now, so maybe I should do something different with this ad.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's why we start in trial with the 3 ad split test. And it doesn't always land in the first 3 ads either, guys. Sometimes you have to do it a couple times. The marketplace everywhere is unique in your neck of the woods. And some of the harder to get into markets is just, it's a result of everybody spending money on Facebook, not just real estate. So that's why you got to imagine that if there's a 15-mile minimum radius drop there, you can't assume that Facebook's going to get it right within the first 500 people. Like, if you get it, it's awesome. If you don't, just keep on going until you find that perfect representation audience, and you will get it. It's not a matter of if, it's when. Sometimes you got to get a little bit more creative, and that's what your coach is there for. Just don't try to figure this all out on your own. That's the way I can help you figure out at least the ad performance side. Okay. Who else has some wins they'd like to share, or just, based on this conversation, let's keep it going. What's working for you? Maybe someone who's doing address onlys that have worked effectively. There is opportunities to connect with the address onlys, by the way. Who's got some shares on that one?
We're sending out the address onlys to our agents to deal with.
Good for you.
We got a lot of real ones coming in and I kind of feel like they're more real if they put in their email and their phone number, more interested. So we work those, but we send the other ones out to our agents to work. So they pull the information through Cole Realty, they send them out a letter, they call them if they get a phone number, email them, stuff like that. But yeah.
I think there's something to be said about that. If you're going to use the mailer system, make sure to brand it with the mailer. Make sure to create a call to action within that mailer too, and definitely leverage.
Yeah, we have the map, that ugly map. We have a picture of it on there so that they kind of know why they're getting this, and maybe they'll remember clicking on it.
Yeah, that's smart. And then a call to action, a question perhaps, and point them back to where you want them to go. I think is an important piece. And even your social media, if, for some of you that are leveraging Facebook as a CRM and trying to connect with them on Facebook, let them know that if you are, even with these address onlys, sending friend requests, check their message request folder for anybody that is sending a message there, because until your friends, it lands in the message request folder, right, for Facebook Messenger. So help people acknowledge that. And that you could also set the tone and expectations in your automations with the emails. Always say, PS, check your message request folder, right? I sent you a message on Facebook. So they know where it's at and they know where you can begin the conversation, because once they go check it, now it connects you. And now you have them on Facebook. And that's what you need to know, is like a lot of people won't get your Facebook message unless they know it's there. So that's where BombBomb can be helpful. And that's where the screen recording tool can be helpful. So you can actually show them where to go. That's the whole point of the BombBomb screen recording, is you can have tabs open and acknowledging, hey, is this your Facebook? I just want to make sure I'm sending it to the right person. Go to your message request folder. I just sent you a message here. That's where you can kind of use the tool and have several tabs open to walk them through the experience you want them to have.
Hey, Marcus, something I just want to kind of bring up as well is, you know, if you're running an ad and, you know, you're investing in that, you're building a database of contacts, you're building a database of leads, obviously. And something that I wanted to kind of shout out is Marley Walters. She posted this a little while ago, but it's such a good thing to remember. And I hear this time and time again from different people, where all she did is she remailed her CMA to her list. And so these are all the previous submissions that she'd got over the last 60 days. And from that remailing, she got 2 calls, set an appointment, signed a listing, and she had another one booked for the next week. So something to remember is that we've done a lot of building over the last couple months for most people here. So it's last 60 days, but we're moving right into spring. And when we move into spring, people that we're researching are now ready to start listing. And so there's a ton of people in your hopper, in your pipeline, that you may have reached out to in the past who are more ready today. So take that, just to remember that this is the time to go after them right now. And you probably have in your database already, you know, at least a dozen people who are looking at this very moment, this very week, are thinking about who should I be working with right now. And just keep that on top of mind, that they're in your database already. So really, any way you can retarget them, send mail, do something, get in front of them, that's going to make a huge impact. It's going to turn into business. That's obviously what you're looking for. So if you've spent money investing in the last little while, this is the time to start reaping those rewards.
Awesome.
I think we often make the mistake that we assume that people aren't interested when they don't respond. And maybe I'm stuck in this world right now. I have 4 kids under the age of 10. So we're busy. My attention is really hard to get. Okay. I didn't open your email, not because I didn't want to, not because I didn't intend to, not because it wasn't something that I needed or wanted. I was just busy. And you were one of 17 emails in my inbox. You're actually doing me a favor in my life if you're keeping in touch with me on something that I put my hand up for. They put their hand up. They ask for the information. They ask for the value. And sometimes we get stuck because they don't respond right away. And that's that whole making about us thing. And that's kind of when we feel guilty about reaching out, is because if we dug down into our mindset is me, make it about me. But when you flip it over, like Ira here has 4 kids. He needs to move. He wants to move. He's looking to upgrade into his home. He put the information in, but life has got him so busy that his attention is thrown in 300 different directions. You're doing me a favor by continuously reaching out to me and asking, like, why did you submit this? How can I help you? How can I be of service to you? And because you're the one that's in my attention most frequently, you're the one I'm going to call when I finally have 5 minutes between screaming toddlers in the middle of the night. So that's the way you have to think of it, is you're offering a service to somebody who, in a day and age where our attention is hard to come by, we're living the attention economy. You got to learn how to keep people's attention, which means most people aren't going to react in that first 3, 4, 5 reach outs. Even the 4th conversation we have doesn't usually populate anything, you know, progressive towards you. But the 8th conversation, the 9th conversation is when things turn over. We have to be the ones willing to continue that conversation beyond that first one, and also get our mindset in the place that it's not, you know, if, it's when. It's not if, it's when. Because even if it's not me, and you're the person that's offered me crazy value, and I'm starting to recognize this, but I haven't reached out to tell you that because I'm so busy. I haven't texted you back. But my sister comes over and she says, I'm looking at listing my house. And I go, oh, I don't know this person, but they seem really nice. You should call them. You don't even know that they called you because of this, but you were just service oriented. And the key word that we're hearing here over and over and over again is do. It's not about what you're doing. It's about the fact that you're doing it. Pick a process, keep consistent with it, stop trying to perfect it. Some of us get so stuck in perfection that we're trying to just make it perfect. So then we don't do anything. We're stuck in indecision because we're just so stuck on trying to get it perfect. You just have to pick a process and stick to it and do it daily. That's some of the wins we've already heard this morning. I'm doing it even if I don't know if it's working, but I know in the back of my mind it will. It's going to pay off. It will. You just have to do it.
Oh, I love that. That's gold. And something to, remember as well is that people go through peaks and valleys of interest. And when people come through and they raise their hand, they click on an ad, they're in a peak of interest. They may not even be necessarily been thinking about it in that moment, but because of the fact that you put it in front of them, they saw it, they said, yeah, you know what, this is something I want to engage with. I'm curious. Their interest goes up. That's obviously why it's important to get in front of those people right away. And then that interest might disappear for a while. And sometimes that valley can last a week, can last 2 weeks, it can last 6 months, it can last 2 years. But that peak is coming around the corner. And the more your database, the more your hopper grows, the more people who are at a peak of interest any given day. So that's where the power of nurturing, whether it's through email, I know Donna Swansea, like her superpower is email. So she stays front and center on people's email. Other people, they'll send out quarterly market reports, but what you're doing is you're ensuring that you're staying top of mind. And the more people have in your database, the more people who peak of interest in that moment is ready for it. And I love how Troy will always talk about the fact that, we've got certain things we control. So people's their time frame is their time frame. And then what we can do is we can make sure that we're building our know, like, and trust in the process. But the other thing to remember is that, yes, that's true. But as we educate people and as we help to follow up and stay at forefront with them, we're actually helping them to get to that time frame a little bit faster. And sometimes they're getting to the time frame before they even know that they're able to. So sometimes people might say, well, I'm just not ready. I need to get my, everything in order. I want to do some investigation first. Well, you can actually help them through that process. If you get onto that conversation, it's really about figuring out what their needs are and serving them and uncovering what their questions and problems are. And then you move from the position of being, just somebody that they're interested in to actually somebody that they're, okay, I'm working with you now because you're really helping me get to my goals. And I think that's a really important place to be. And yeah, so it's really remembering that there's those peaks and valleys, building that database so that you're getting more people who are at the peaks every single day, and then staying front and center so that you can ask those questions, be curious, uncover, so that you can find out, how can I serve this person today? Whether it's, oh, I'll help you identify the homes that you're really looking for, or, let's actually figure out a plan. Maybe I can introduce you to a mortgage broker or a lender that I'm really confident about. They're super creative. Maybe your time frame is actually sooner than you realize, and I can help you get to that dream home or that next step that you're looking for.
Jessica, you there? I'm going to call on you because you're in the StreetText Academy course, so I have to call on you.
Hello.
So, hey, it's been a while. Tell me kind of your experience, since you started, what you've learned, kind of your key takeaways in terms of, with these leads. What have you found has been kind of, for you at least, your number one way of getting these leads to communicate with you, and then kind of figuring out where they are in their time frame?
I pick up the phone as soon as I can and talk to them and just be myself and just be genuine, and people respond to that. I'm not super pushy. I've said that before. I'm not salesy. I'm just genuine and authentic. And so because of that, I've been with you guys for 11 months now, and I've closed 12 transactions. I've been MIA right now only because of the fact that, so just let me tell you about my week this week that I had. I closed on one house. I put 3 into escrow. I listed 2 more. And that was just in 1 week. And I've already received, I started running yesterday, a new property listing ad, and I already received 16 buyer leads in 24 hours. So I am a huge I'm like, I love StreetText so much, but I don't show up as often because I'm just so busy because you guys are awesome. So, but yeah, no, just picking up the phone and just emailing them and just doing the videos and just being authentic and just getting in front of them. And it just, that's what it comes down to. So that's what works for me.
So does your autoresponders initiate the conversation, or do you feel like it's the personal follow-up, like in a personal video email? Do you use Facebook as well? Like or you do everything and kind of just keep on touching them?
I just do everything. I do everything. I use Facebook, and I also use, I love BombBomb and I love HomeBot. So I combine the two of them together, and it works really well. And I am horrible at reaching those address onlys, only because I don't have the time to do it, but I need to get back into that part of it. But no, I mean, it's just picking up the phone and being authentic and getting in front of them. And even if I don't have a phone number, my videos are super authentic. And I love the StreetText follow-up. I use that the most. And I mean, I have people that at 9 months are reaching out to me and saying, hey, yeah, I would love a new CMA on my home. And so that, to me, I'm touching them. So for 9 months and getting in front of them, and they still are responding to me even after 9 months.
Now, are you using the Julie AI component on your, no. So do you turn that off? There's a text message going out and beginning a conversation. What are you doing with that thing?
I just don't use it. I turn it off. I believe I personally text, or I personally do the videos and I do the emails, but I use all of your emails. But then of course I follow up with my own as well. I mean, I just haven't had the time to really dive into it a whole lot, but yeah, no, I mean, what I'm doing seems to be working.
Are you able to take us through a little bit of your process? Let's say you get a lead, email, phone number, whatever. Let's just take a full lead. You get a phone number, email, everything like that. What would be, especially since Julie's not really in play for you then, can you take us kind of step by step, starting with step one? What would you typically do to obviously initiate that conversation?
So I do, I immediately do, I already have videos embedded into a couple of my follow-ups that you guys already have. And then of course, when I do the CMA for them, I also include video, and then I do it with the HomeBot as well. And I put them straight into HomeBot so that they're getting that touch every month. Plus they're getting the touches from you guys every month. And then and as soon as they start to, respond to me, I pick up the phone because I ask them for their phone number. I say, I would love to chat with you. Can you please provide me your phone number? And I would say 80% of the time they do, because I ask. It never hurts to ask. Yep. So, and then I just pick up the phone. But anyway, so I do that, and then I get in front of them, and as soon as I get into the house, I get the listing, because it's just, I mean, what if you know what you're doing and you just talk a good talk, which I'm really good at. You can really you get it, and you're just genuine, and that's how it is. And so
now, other than the first couple, obviously you've got video in the first couple introductory emails, which, for everybody here, that's so incredibly important. Have you done any major edits or anything to the remainder of the email drip, or is it kind of after the first 10 days or so, you just left it default and let it do its thing?
Yeah, I kind of just left it default. And honestly, it works. I mean, like I said, after 9 months, I'm still getting people that are just like, yes, please send me another CMA. I wasn't ready last year, but I'm ready this year. And so and to me, it's just the constantly being able to reach out and touch them, which you guys help me with, because, trying to take care of the, first and foremost. So, yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to show you guys an example of what these touches are. I'm going to pull up a guy named Vance Murphy. Some of you remember him. He's been on here a couple of times. He uses the AI component really well to initiate conversations and to kind of create the opportunities for them to book into his calendar. But if you look at the way he is, I'm going to share my screen here. Look at the way he set up his email. He took about 48 hours and went in there and kind of started customizing the drip. And you can see the unique difference is really just getting his handprint all over it and putting little emojis all over the 9 month long. Like, just fun little stuff, right? I can take a screenshot of this, guys, and give it to you in the insider group. But you can see it's just the small little touches they put on it, and you're tracking along the way the opens, of course. They lower over time, but you're gonna always go after the people that are engaging them. But what he's done, I think that's unique with every one of them, is if you actually go and look at any one of them and you view the body, you can see he's kind of made it his own, right? With a quick 16-second video, he's got a link into his calendar for a walkthrough, and he's got some of his, his email signature in there, book an appointment, et cetera, et cetera. So it's all about branding it with your content. That's where this becomes really cool on the automation side. If you just leave it as is, unfortunately, a lot of the time, but Jessica, in your case, you're calling them, you're engaging them and so forth, and it's working for you. But for some people, you do that in addition to what you're already doing, and then it's just reinforcing that personal contact. So that's where I like that. If you're gonna do the 9-month-long, consider putting some of your own personal content in there, always leaving with a call to action, always leaving with a question, because all you're looking to do is get them to engage, to dialogue. Always point back to your social media so they can find you. Stacey Sebastian, I think she's maybe just listening on here. She does that really well with all her social media. So, because you're gonna want them to know you wherever they are, if they're on YouTube, or they're on Facebook, or whatever you're at, Instagram, et cetera, et cetera. Something to consider, right? And the call to action, I like, and not everyone's using it. Some people better than others. But if you look at the way even, I have you guys book into my calendar with Calendly, it's such a cool thing when you consider creating your own options, whether it's a 5-minute call to learn more about their home value. Maybe it's that 15-minute complimentary, no obligation walkthrough. It's how you actually use verbiage to there too. Or, let's just meet for coffee down the street. You create that link within each automation so that they have the opportunity to connect with you. And you could literally wake up the following day and have a booking. You obviously have to create your calendar so you could create space for that. But you could literally have bookings in your calendar. That's exactly how you guys meet with me. And when you guys book with me, it automatically prompts to Zoom too. There's so much to think about in terms of exploring this the way you want it to go. It's kind of sometimes we just got to get outside the box a little bit and have some fun.
One of the things you can do, I use Square because it gives me, the free 99 thing. Calendly gives you one, Square gives you two. I've got a buyer consultation and I've got the seller one. So what I do is in the notes in my phone, because your phones go everywhere you go, as I'm responding to the automation, if they want something, I can text them the link to that so they can make the appointment. And then that way you're driving them to you and getting them to you.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and obviously you have so much money in your budget, so you got to figure out which you're going to invest in outside of StreetText. And some people don't have much money outside of that in their ad budget. So look for the free 99 tools whenever possible. And I promise you, the connection that you make on Facebook is a smart one. Like, everybody should go the extra mile. Don't rely on StreetText to pull that social media. Sometimes it does based on the email. But go ahead and do a quick search, because as soon as you see someone's face and their family and the mutual values you have and connections and interests and all that stuff, that's what Facebook pulls there for you. It immediately humanizes the process. It immediately makes you feel like this lead is more than just an address or an email. You're more likely to see them as someone that you're going to be intentional about connecting with, as opposed to a lead who just puts in their address and email, right? And you're like, well, they didn't get a hold of me. I don't even know who this is. So that's the power of the connection side of Facebook. If you can allow them to see that you're more than just a realtor, that you have a real life and you have interests and likes, and they get to see, just like Jen was talking about, your family and kids and what you represent. I think that in many ways is what we're all craving, is the authenticity. It's not because everybody's trying to get our business. I'm sure they're solicited every day with people trying to give them, to sell them something. So what's unique and different about you? Why should they connect with you? I thought it was just a home value. I thought I was just getting a list. Why do I need to talk to you? And that's the key, I think, compelling process is what you need to move forward with. Focus on process and how you connect with them.
Stop hiding behind it too. So one of the things I'm doing this week, I've got the HomeBot like embedded at the top of my business page. And for people that don't want to reach out and stuff like that, or if people get to know you, what I'm going to put on my site this weekend just to kind of test it is I'm going to make a couple of bomb videos about the selling process and put them on my business page so they at least get some kind of live something of you to see how you are and see what kind of results I get out of that. Because if they go to your business page and you don't have anything on there other than the typical, see this new house, see this, see that, you've got to still give them something to let them know you're a person. And you can't always hide behind text and emails are the gateway to get in the door, but you still at a certain point got to pick up that phone, make the call. And I always tell my people, text, email, call when necessary. The text and the email is the gateway to get your foot in the door. At that point that they're engaging, you have to call these guys or do something to get in there. So, you know, like I said, if you're on a BombBomb or Loom, anything, just go ahead and make a video, put it in your Facebook business page about you, the selling process, something to get them to have a half iota of who you are and how you are.
It's awesome.
I heard, so Richard Brunson, Virgin co-founder of, you know, airlines, everything. He talks about how he took himself more seriously when he started business than anyone else did. So he would show up to a bank, and they said, because I mean he was you know, wore sandals or no shoes, and he's in the UK, which is pretty traditional culture, and he'd go to these meetings, and he even had meetings on his houseboat with like 40 lawyers crammed around or something like that, like just crazy. But he said he took himself so serious first. And I think that one of our superpowers is relationships, and to remember that. So it's like sometimes it's easy to hide behind the bot or the automation or whatever else, but it's that superpower of actually getting out there, connecting with someone, building that relationship, which establishes trust. But the key, and I think this is like the most important piece, is that we have to trust ourselves first. Because when we trust ourselves and when we believe in ourselves, that emanates, and that then is something that resonates with people when we connect with them, because they say, wow, that person trusts himself so much, he's got to be professional, you know? So it's that key. So I love what you said there, Leon, just building off on that.
Yeah. I mean, as you can see just by being here today, there's so many ways to do this. There is so many ways. So you just gotta, I think, just work with your coach. That's the best thing I could tell you. And mastermind here, but also use the discussion feature in the insider group, because we have moderators in there too. So the best thing you do is create discussions and all rally around each other and support those discussions. There's your ammo. Go to that Facebook insider group, like use people's feedback and create, you know, a movement based on what you need help with. That's my biggest recommendation. If you're coming here consistently every week, if you're going through the StreetText Academy, if you're in the insider group and engaging the discussions and scrolling through, you're gonna do well. You're gonna do well. It's gonna be a matter of time because you're gonna be open to learning. But if you're closed off and you just let an ad go and then you revisit this a couple months later and you ask yourself, well, StreetText is not for me, you're gonna have to take some personal responsibility on that, right? Just
and you learn from other people's mistakes. I mean, one of the things, George says this all the time, about how this mastermind is a gold mine. Because what happens is you can, you know, if you see someone put their hand in a fire and burn it, obviously, you know, hey, if I put my hand in a fire and burn it, you learn from it. And everybody in here posts different wins and losses, or they'll post questions and stuff that you can learn from. I've been at this for a while, but I love the fact that I can turn around and someone will come in, and sometimes we get locked in a realtor mindset, I call it, where we just think everybody sees it our way. So sometimes the best ideas I get about real estate is asking somebody who doesn't have a clue about real estate. And I can ask them, hey, if you're looking for homes, what do you do? And you get their perspective. I don't chase every shiny new button. And, you know, you get people that are out here seeing new things that come out. But the cool part in the group is when you come in here, someone posts a question or you're just following a string, that you'll see what someone else does. And it might set you down another path to do something as well. So it's one of those where even to say nothing doesn't mean you won't learn anything. Just follow the group, come in there, participate. And I've reached out to several people where I'll see them post something and I'll ask them a couple questions. And it saves me time trying to put something together, because when I see what they're doing, the fact that everybody's willing to share it back and forth, whether it's CRMs or just follow up or mail out, or sharing sites where they can go in and get stuff to make the mail outs for address onlys, this and that. It just, that alone in the time savings, it saves you money, is worth $1 million.
Yeah, that's so good, Leon. I encourage everybody to come out of here and post something in the insider group or engage somebody, help somebody, serve somebody in the insider group. Anytime you have a win, share it, talk about how you got it, so we can all rally around each other and learn from what you're doing.
Well, and especially your videos, if you guys are doing the video CMAs like Wendy was talking about, or anybody else is doing things like that, you can put it in the group, and you understand that it's not a group with teeth. Obviously, there's constructive feedback and stuff, which is phenomenal, but you posting a video like that will only encourage others to do the same, which will improve their process, which in turn they're going to put their videos, which you have more to feed off as well. You can see somebody else, and exactly like Leon is saying, is everybody is coming at this from a slightly different mindset. Everybody has a slightly different past history, whatever it may be, and the ability to look at things slightly different. So if everybody is posting their videos, you have more that you can then learn from. You can say, you know what, I didn't really like that, I'm going to make sure I don't do that, or I love that idea, I didn't think of that angle, whatever it may be. And this is the reason for these masterminds and that insider group, is for everybody to kind of use our collective knowledge and advance all of our games, right? So make sure that, and the only rule to being in the insider group, I tell people this all the time, is don't be a jerk. That's it. You can say good things, bad things, warts and all, everything gets left in there. That's fine. However, just be nice to one another. That's it. Right. So don't feel, intimidated to post content in that group, because it's the testing ground. If you're a little unsure of how it's going to be taken by the general public, well, show it to us first. Show it to the group. Let people come in and say, you said 52 times in that video. Otherwise, it was perfect. Maybe we record and try not to do that. I can see you reading a script, whatever it is. Let us and your peers see it first, then make it public. We all win, right? So be sure to come in, post your content in that insider group. Let us all help each other.
Awesome.
I want to share one last thing real quick, because a lot of people say this. People talk about RPR and the CMAs and the time thing. So here's a time saver thought if you have it. If you're not running HomeBot or Dub or anything like that, I would say HomeBot is the thing. Go try it. People talk about how long it takes to put a CMA together, and I don't care how fast you say you do it. If you get it in 5 to 10 minutes, whatever, it still adds up. I've been using HomeBot now as when people come in for values, I send it to them, because all that information just pops out. I've got a Word doc that I just copy and paste. I send an email right behind it using my BombBomb features tied in, so I actually know they opened it. And then if they want to go with more at that point, then I go ahead and I set up the CMA based on showing Zillow and Redfin and everything like that. So what that does actually is it's giving you more touches to reach out to people, but it's worthwhile. And it's great that when you send out the second one, which would be the email letting them know that you just sent them a digest, please look at it and let you know if you have any questions, the information in that keeps them occupied. I laugh when I see people open it 6 and 7 times. And then the email opens, so I know they open the email, and I can do a follow-up behind that when I'm doing follow-ups to see if they have any questions. And then at that point, you're working in to see any updates, upgrades, or remodels, and then you can put together the presentation where you send the screen recording and stuff out. So at the end of the day, just using HomeBot is giving me 3 to 4 more touches on these guys. And since you have such a short window, if you're trying to get them out there right away, my engagement's gone way up.
Well, and they're very valuable touches as well, because you can kind of quantify touches or qualify touches in a sense, right? And I think that, and you have to have both. You have to have a good quantity, but I mean, quality touches. And that's kind of what we're finding HomeBot's providing. It's not just another check-in and another whatever. It's value provided and sending really good information that's 100% branded to you. They can do a lot of things that they can't find other places, but everything that they do is through your, under your banner, that's the key, is you are your brand. Your face, your personality is your brand. So put your face, put your name everywhere. And if it's a tool they're constantly logging into 6, 7 times, whatever it may be, more opportunities to see you. You're the one who's provided that. So great idea on that as well.
Yeah, John, talk about what's happening with the integration.
Well, I mean, just short, but we've been working on this backend with them so that we can tie in your home seller leads directly into HomeBot integration, and we'll connect it through Zapier. It's private right now, but we can still do it. So if you want to, mention it in the insider group underneath this mastermind, and we'll get you connected. But I mean, it's going to be killer time saver. Yeah.
Love it. Great, guys. Hope you love that. More of this next week. Be here, spread the love, get into the insider group. It's gospel only if we make it that way, right, guys? It's good news. So keep on sharing inside that group. Keep on celebrating your wins. And if you have any questions in the meantime, reach out to your coach and reach out in the insider group and we'll be with you. Have a great day.